1, 2, 3, clap.
Thank you and welcome. Good afternoon. I want to start by asking the question, what do you know about mental health? Did you know that men are more likely to commit suicide than women? So now that I have your attention, I want you to really picture in your mind how many men you know. It could be your brother, it could be your uncle, it could be your father, it could be your husband, or it could be a friend that could be silently dealing with mental health, but they haven't said anything. And today we're going to talk about why. We're going to talk about the stigmas that have been placed on men to act tough, to show no weakness or show no emotion. So as I began, in 2016, a study was reported that 123 suicides happen a day, and 7 out of 10 that were accounted for were white males. And according to that same study, 50.57% used firearms, which was the highest and most common way to commit suicide. So as we look at mental illness, why is it not talked about amongst men? Why do we feel like men have to portray this manly, masculine figure of not wanting to express their feelings or not wanting to talk about how they feel or what's going on? So I want to transition into why men don't seek help or why men don't seek treatment. As we look at the scenario that I've drawn out, please excuse my artwork. David is a 32-year-old black male. David had a great job where he made decent money. One day, David got a phone call that his mom has cancer. 2 weeks later, David lost his job after putting in applications for over a month and still not finding a job. David began to receive late and past due notices. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I've been in that situation. Whether it could be from a loss of a loved one, a loss of a job, or just falling in hard times, it can really mess with your mental. And if you don't recognize the signs, you could be a victim of possible suicide. So he wasn't eating, he wasn't sleeping, and then soon after he became distant towards family and friends. So if you have the card that says distant or detached from reality, can you please raise your card? If you have the card of not sleeping, can you please raise your card? And he began to question himself, have I failed as a man? Do I deserve to be called a man? No. If you've ever had those feelings, could you raise your hand? You don't have to. But if you had those thoughts of maybe I should be doing more, or what can I do more, or why is my life like this? Why should I be feeling like this? I want you to know that it's okay and you're not the only one. So as we continue with the scenario, 6 months after not finding a job, David turned to alcohol, which caused other issues. So if you have the card of substance abuse, can you please raise that? Substance abuse is common when it comes to dealing with mental illness. Substance abuse can lead to substance-induced mental illness if not treated and recognized properly. So a case study was done in Great Britain, and symptoms of postnatal, or what we call postpartum depression in new couples who had children. 46% of men reported those symptoms, but 76% of those men did not report those symptoms as their female counterparts, due to the simple fact that when men go to seek treatment, there's a negative attitude already in place because they don't have the same feelings as women. They don't feel what we feel. Or the doctor or psychiatrist will say, well, you don't look depressed. You don't seem depressed. You look okay to me. which is why men go misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed. So what can we do to stop this from happening, to stop the taboo of what mental illness is talked about and how it's talked about? And then what will happen if we continue to do nothing? What will happen if we continue to do nothing is the suicide rate will continue to rise. The substance abuse rate will continue to become an epidemic more than what it already is. So how do we get out of this stigma, and how do we break out of that box? One, we start by normalizing vulnerability, and it starts with our young boys. It starts with our young boys and letting them know that it's okay to show emotion. It starts with our young boys and letting them know that it's okay to not be okay. It starts with our men and letting them know that if you don't feel like yourself, it's okay to not feel like yourself, and it's okay to tell somebody that you're not okay. A quote from C.S. Lewis states, "Mental pain is less dramatic than physical pain, but is also more common and also hard to bear. The frequent attempt to conceal mental pain increases the burden. It is easier to say, 'My tooth is aching,' than to say, 'My heart is broken.'" So as we continue and as we bring awareness towards mental health, all it takes is one phone call. One phone call to check in on somebody, because you never know if that one phone call might be the call to save their life that day. So all I do is ask that if you know somebody that might be dealing with this, might be having signs and symptoms, one phone call is all it takes. Thank you. The floor is open for questions, but if you don't have any, 3 questions I want you guys to think about is, are you okay? Ask yourself, am I okay? Question number 2, how do I know I'm not okay? And the last question is, do I want help? Thank you.